Hello, race fans. The Odds Couple Hour back, but we have a special guest tonight. Skinnier, more hairier guy.
A little more hair.
Matt Metz is in the house. For those of you that don't know Matt, he's a member of our the Equibase team, and you cover every track in Kentucky. Has been with them, I think, about 16, 17 years now. I'll get into talking to Matt about what he does on the day-to-day basis with Equibase. And for those of you who do know, Equibase is our data provider for our programs here, and Matt, along with his coworker up there, they compile all this data. They put together all the stuff that we read to handicap the races, and we're going to get Matt's opinion. Matt's a very good handicapper as well. You haven't been on the show yet here, and you know, last time we seen you used to be up in Indiana Downs, co-host there a lot, and you know, Matt was a pretty good handicapper, so we're glad to have him on the show, and we'll get into it here. So tell the folks kind of maybe, I don't know, maybe if you want to spread it out or a watered-down version, what exactly Equibase does.
Well, I mean, everybody knows we're data. Mm-hmm. I like to consider that we're the eyes for the novice handicappers, the expert horse players. You know, we see trouble, we denote it. Basically, if you're not watching the replay, we're, like I said, we're their eyes. So that way, that if a horse doesn't run the way it should have on paper, there's a reason for it.
And you guys are going to have it listed.
Always going to have it listed.
So for those that don't know, like, when you're calling the chart and go back and when you go to write it, like, somebody go back and watch a replay, handicapping or whatever, they'll watch it once or twice, but you guys go over that replay, you already know what you've seen and what you have written down, but you go over that multiple times.
Yep.
Until you're confident you have that chart perfectly correct, you got everything you've seen notated, and then you'll go. But you'll definitely, you guys watch a replay probably how many times a race?
Oh, easily 6, 7 times. We have the pan camera, we have the head-on camera, so anything that we miss when we do it live, we can watch the replay as many times as we want just to make sure that we didn't miss anything. We denote everything, so that way we give, every handicapper out there, as much information if they don't watch the race themselves. Even if they do watch the race themselves, doing this 16 years, we see a little more things in the, especially the novice handicapper is going to see.
So with that being said, now, do you find yourself, I know you personally, so I know you don't bet a lot, but I know your coworker does.
A little bit.
But now, you guys see that trouble, you do notate it. I mean, we read it, but some of you guys, do you have a list, like horses you weighed on? I know you don't bet, but like, just to see, what you've seen last time, and then you want to see how this horse runs today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are, races at Churchill or Keeneland, I'll make a little note somewhere, I'll write the horse's name down, just I noticed something, or, even having it in the form or in the program, I won't always recognize that horse, so I'll make a little note just to say, next time he runs back, we'll see what happens. He gets a nice price, and bet it and see what happens.
Right. I do the same thing, watching so many races every day, and you see so many trouble trips or something, you try to remember, but you can't. So I make my own list too. Obviously, I rely on you guys to remind me when I need to know. But so we'll get into handicapping here. 8 races on the card. The Polytrack, of course, is fast. Now, the first race starts the pick 5. It's a maiden filly mare, $5,000 claimant event to go 1 mile. I end up going with number 1, Rehearsal Dinner Mat on top here. I thought the horse may have just needed the last couple, like the second off the layoff, really third off the shelf, but second start since January. Coming back a little bit short, but drops in class, was second, showed speed and faded, does draw the rail, inside post position going long. I'm going to put him on top, and then Lady Creed, I like her chances better, returning to the route distance, and then I'm going to throw the 4 already gone in for third. How'd you see it?
I've got same top 2, same reason. I think the one's on paper, I think realistically it probably has the lone speed. So if it can run the same kind of race as it did last time, drop it in class, which will help. I think this time it can hang on. And the only difference I have is I have the 5 coming third instead of the 4.
Okay, so 175 for Matt in the opener, 174 for me. That does start the pick 5. I think we're probably in agreement for the people playing the pick 5. You probably can go pretty short there. We both think the 1's probably a single there in the opener. If your budget allows, it's the only other horse probably to use is the 7. Now, the second race, Matt starts the pick 4, and in race number 2, it's a field of 7 to go. I'll let you lead things off in here. How'd you see this race?
I went with the 1 again. I have 163. I think the 5 and the same ones.
Yeah.
I think the 5 and the 6 are going to duel. I think if, the one's a closer, so I think if he runs the race that she did back on the 14th of February, going a mile, and just, chases the duel, chases the pace, and just stays back and I think she can run the 5 and the 6 down in the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. Exact same reasons. I thought the race absolutely set up for the one. It's my top pick, as you can see on the screen. We are in agreement all the way through the first three there. 1-6-3 for me, and I think One Spirit at 7-2. If it can run that race 3 back, she gets paid tonight. And that race going 6.5 last start. She was closing, she was getting there, but as you'll see in the short comment you guys wrote, she had problems at the start. I remember the race, and she came running. She just ran out of room. So
yeah, and last time or 2 times back, the February 14th race I mentioned, had steady at the 5/16 pole and still rallied, got beat by 2 3/4. Still came second, so had trouble 2 of the last 3 times out, and I think, can rally down passing the 5 and the 6 in the stretch.
All right, there you go. 1-6-3 for the both of us in race number 2. That does start the early pick 4. Now the third race on this 8-race card's Affiliate Merit Condition Claimer, non-winners of the year to go 5.5 furlongs. Now this race, I think on paper, I had a little trouble because this is one of those races. If I'm going short in the first 2 in my multi-race wagers, I'm going to use as many as I possibly can in here. I can make a case for 5 or 6 of them, but I do have a rule. If I'm going to use more than half the field, punch the all button if my budget allows us. But I was in between the 5 and an 8, and I ended up going for the 5 just on the breaking weight and on the turn back. I don't know. I think the race is wide open. I'm going to use number 8, Crisis Averted. Also, I see you have the same 2, just flip-flop.
Yep.
And then I'm going to throw number 4, Lucy, as a big long shot. The horse hasn't ran since I was in high school, but I think she's
been a while.
Yeah, she's an 11-year-old coming off the bench here. But what I do like about her, she's a 19-time winner from 67 starts, 20 times second. I mean, she's been 45 out of 67, 1, 2, 3. So I don't know why she was off that long. Maybe they turned her out in the pasture. She's too quick to catch.
Forgot about her.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe she turned her into a broodmare with that kind of race record. Maybe she wasn't ready to be done racing. I don't know. I'm throwing her in at a price. In my pick 4 and 5s, I'm going to spread out here. You're going 8, 5, 7. How'd you get there?
I could have went 5, 8 as well. I tend to take the Journeyman over the Apprentice if I'm, when I'm looking, just because of, maturity and just experience and all that. I mean, obviously, the 5's got the speed, probably going to duel with the 9. Again, just like before, runs the same race as it did last time, was no matched. So she could easily just run the same race and not be not have the horse in front of her again. But I mean, with me, I crossed out the entire first page personally. But after listening to you, Aaron West and Corey Orm have been a pretty good duel, this meet.
Yeah, they teamed up for a bunch of winners, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of Aaron West's 4 wins are with Corey, so chances are, he rides, his horses, a little better. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. For me, I would throw the 7 in there, just off its last start. Ran basically evenly, didn't do much, had a bad start prior, so I just threw him in there just for a little bit of value. Makes sense. In a wide open race, I would take as many as my budget allows me. If I was playing a pick 4, pick 3, even the doubles, go short in the second race and spread out here. 5-8-4 for me, and it looks like 8-5-7 for Matthew there. 33 minutes to post as we head into race number 4. Race 4, a 3 since an 8 or non-4 condition race to go a mile. Let me check the scratches here. I don't think there were any. No. Field of 8, no scratches in race number 4. Now in the 4th race, I end up going with number 3, Ian Smith on top. Steve Cahill had a winner here back on the Thursday card. And I like this one. I think this one's been begging for a drop in class for a long time, and they keep running it for the $8,000 level. But, off that nickel non-3 win for the 9 lengths, I understand maybe taking a shot, step up in class. And the horse did run okay. And then it came back and ran 4th, got beaten off. Probably should have dropped then, but they ran it one more time and got beat 32 lengths, and now all of a sudden, let's go back for the 5. So Ian Smith, I think, is in with a shot. He will be a pace factor. Does have some
probably some foes to go with him in here. I think there's a little bit of pace to go after him as well. But I think on class alone, he should get the job done. And then I went for number 7, Run Malibu Run, fresh off that non-3 score. This one should get a good stalking position underneath Sammy Bermudez. And then for third, I'm going to go for number 4, Kitten for Granny. Now this one's a 3-time winner from 19 starts. A win, a second, 2/3 here. Was 4th beaten 6 lengths as the beaten favorite last start, was wide in the first turn, you'll see there. Time before was 2nd beat just a nose to Burnt Bluff, who came back and win. So the horse has kind of been keeping good company. I'm going to go 3-7-4.
Yeah, I actually wrote stalk on the 7. A little note, just I agree, I think do the same thing. Obviously, I went with you. The Ian Smith dropping. Last time it ran for 5 was December. It was a mile and 16th race, but I don't think that will mean much. Shook free down the lane 3 times ago. I mean, the time before that, won easily at a mile and 16th. So I think along with the 2, I think they both have the speed. I think the 8 and the 4 are going to be back. I agree the 7's going to stalk, but I think, just class-wise dropping, I think the 3 can just, stay all the way.
Right, so Matt's going to go 3-8-7. I'm going 3-7-4. We both like the 3, Ian Smith there in race number 4. Now the 5th race is a maiden 3-year-old $7,500 claimant event, and they will race a mile. Now, in the 5th race, we'll get to that as we take a break here. We're going to take a little pause for the cause as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Turfway Park. Folks, at this time, we ask that you please rise, kindly remove your caps, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening once again, race fans. Welcome into Turfway Park on this 8-race Saturday ladies' night card at the track. 28 minutes to post for the opener. Race fans, if you'll take out your race informs or programs, I'll give you tonight's late program changes. First race, start of the pick 5, scratch number 2, La Huerta. Number 2, La Huerta, scratched from the opener. There's an overweight of number 3, Pepper Them Girl. That jockey 2 pounds over. Second race starts early, pick 4. There are no changes in race 2. Race 2 is clear. In the third race, jockey change on the 1A, Lacey the Spartan, make the rider Rolly Aragon. Aragon picks up the 1A, Lacey the Spartan in race 3. There are no changes in races 4 or 5. Races 4 and 5 are clear. You'll page over to race number 6. Race 6, there's a scratch number 4, Sugar Shack. Race 6, number 4, Sugar Shack, scratched. Due to that scratch, there will be no superfecta wagering in race 6. 7th race is free and clear of any changes. If you go to the 8th race, there is a scratch of number 10, Ain't in No Hurry. 8th and final race, number 10, Ain't in No Hurry, has been scratched. You're reminded race 8 offers super high 5 wagering. There's a small carryover of $643. Well, those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the card, I'll get those to you as they do so. Welcome back to the studio, race fans. Jimmy McNerney alongside Matt Metz as we take a look into the second half of the card. Prior to the break, Matt, we got through the first 4 races. We got 4 races left to go, and so far we've been pretty close on our picks. And you know, just like Dan and I sometimes are close, and people think, oh, you guys get together and handicap. We didn't speak anything about this, like who'd you use, or you know. Right now, as it pops up on the screen, it's the first time that we actually know what each other picked. So pretty close to the first half. We'll see about the second half here as we get into race number 5, Matt. It starts at pick 4. This, to me, is probably the race I spent the most time on. I think you can make a case for almost every single horse in the race. There are a couple first-timers. There's some horses dropping. How'd you get to where you got, and what do you got?
I felt the same way. It's probably the most I looked through. It's probably the most I wrote down as far as everything. I came to the conclusion there's no real speed, so you can't really throw that one out and say, you have the lone speed, you'll have somebody chasing a duel. I think the one maybe the closest, having speed, I have him second. I went with the 2 on top just because of what we talked about earlier with the Aaron West and Corey Orm. I think if he runs the same race last time, a little closer, maybe not so much 8th, but still chasing the pace, maybe start, be 6th or 5th and chase. It was no match last time, got beat by 11, running for the same price. I went with that angle. He was up for place last time, so it's not like he was second best, but he still got up. Just with that angle alone, that's why I went with the 2 on top. I threw the 9 in there, first timer, just because it hasn't proven it can't win yet. Same connections last night, won pretty easily with Hernandez and Lescano. So I just threw the first timer in there just because isn't a proven loser yet.
Yeah, I got you. I ended up using the horse for the same reason. I used him second. I think it was the same owner, in fact, Rhonda Cornum and breeder. They bred that horse last night. It was coming off, hadn't raced since Belterra, dropped in class. It was a maiden winner, maiden filly, I think. But, yeah, I used the 9 for second for the same reasons. I was all over the place trying to figure it out. I end up going with Calumet Farms, number 4, Harlansdale, son of English Channel. I love English Channel progeny on this track. They've been faring very well all meet. And I just thought on the class drop, this horse, in against these kind, I had to use the horse on top because the ones that have they've ran for a tag. I think you and I could get close to them if we matched up in the gate with them. So I went for number 4, Harlansdale on the class drop. On debut at 6 furlongs, ran 5th, beaten 16 lengths. That was a really good race. One flew south from the Wesley Ward barn. High Crime came back and won at Gulfstream in the next start. And, of course, Zipto won here as well. You'll see was off a bit slow. They came back 6.5 against Zipto and didn't fare all that well. They tried the mile. And, that was a good race. Overprotective. Artemis Bridge came back and ran on the Ruby undercard in the stake race. So, this horse has been keeping good company. Drops in class. Hasn't seen anything like what he'll be staring down in the gate when they load in here. So that's why I put the 4 on top, 5-1. And 9 we spoke about is my second choice. And for third, number 5, if you see a trend here, I'm using horses that either haven't proven they can't run or haven't proven they can't run at this level. Yep. So I put number 5, Road to Cairo. Brereton Jones owns. Milo Rider trains this one. Ran on debut, and the horse took a little early action that day. Did drift up to 15-1, but didn't show much. Had a slow beginning, then kind of ran around there. But since then, came back and fired a bullet at the training center, drops in class, gets Malcolm up. I think this one will be rolling late if the pace should melt down. So I'm going 4.95. You went 2.19 in race number 5. Now the sixth race, I kind of like this race. It's a filly and mare non-3 allowance event to go a mile. I think there is a scratch of number 4, Sugar Shack. And number 4, Sugar Shack is out of there. How'd you go here? Did you go straight to the outside with your top picks? Or?
No, I went with the 3 as my top pick. Just the closing fashion that she ran last time. Basically, same allowance race. I like the closing. I think there's going to be a lot of speed. I think the 1 has speed, 2 has speed,
That
6
sets it
has
up for that
speed.
one, yeah.
And I just think, of the 6 or the 5 now, that she's the dead closer. So I think if there's enough speed, the front's going to break down. I think that she can just swoop past all of them.
Yeah, certainly. If there's, on paper, the 1's got to go. The 2, is going to go. The 5 does have speed. 6 has got a little speed. So, 6 shows speed going short, stretching out to the route distance. So, yeah, on paper, it sets up for the 3 Fossum. I agree with you there. Did run a good race last year. That Lasiah Jane was a pretty good claim. I think Drury claimed that horse came back and win that 2X. But I ended up just taking a shot with number 6, Starving Artist, just because the newcomer, been facing much tougher down there at the fairgrounds. Now, I thought this horse, I do think she'll be close up. I don't think she has to have the lead. Certainly if Malcolm, I don't know if Joe sent any instructions with the horse, but if Malcolm would ride his own race, I'd have to think he knows there's a lot of speed. He's drawn to the outside. Let the speed go, tuck in going in the first turn. That's what I was hoping he would do. And number 5, Straight Out of Popcorn is my second choice, like you. And then I went for number 2, Ethel Ether. I thought maybe this horse could, out of Scat Daddy. She's going to show speed. She has been stopping the last couple of starts, but I thought maybe she could hang on for a piece in there. 3-5-6 for Matt, 6-5-2 for me. Now the 7th race. Seventh race is a maiden, a 15-10 claimer to go 1 mile, no changes in race 7. How'd you see it here?
I went with the 6 on top. I seem to have a Machado and Lescano trend tonight.
Well, they're first and second leading
exactly.
riders, so
I like to go. Obviously anybody can go with a leading rider,
right.
But I just had trouble last time. Was bothered in the upper stretch. Could have still moved up. Went all lost lengths, but still moved up position, even though being bothered. Going a mile again. There's not a lot of speed in here, so I'm not quite sure who he's going to run down.
Right.
But just pure on the rider and the trouble last time, I put him on top.
He's had a lot of trouble. I remember last race when we were doing the show, we went back and showed a race replay on the race on February 9th, and that horse was, I think I called him all but pulled up down the backside, and remember he was way wide, came running, galloped out real strong. Then last start we came back, bet on the horse, and the horse has gotten a little bit of trouble. Like you said, does probably need some pace. I don't know who that's going to come from. Maybe my kind of kid. Also, maybe the 1, Tommy C and Me, was close up to the pace, a length or 2 off of it, going short, stretching out to the mile distance, has the rail. Why give up position? So, maybe that one to go. I don't know. I ended up going for a horse that didn't finish last time as my top pick. Only because of the connections. Carl Pollard, Brian Nippenberg gets it. This one raced at Aqueduct and Maiden Special Weight Company and didn't really show anything. Had some trouble to start, then was eased. But, has been since then, they've still thought enough of the horse to take it to Palm Meadows. Well, they got down there, and I don't know what happened, but they sent it back to LaGrange up to High Point, been training out there. I'm just taking a shot in a very wide open race. When I'm picking, looking through here in my strongest opinion is on a horse that was beaten for 5,000 in for 15. I'm going to try to find something to beat it. This is the only one I could even take, maybe the 3, I don't know, on the class drop. But I went for the 8 Eagle 2 just on a pure guess. The 6 for the same reasons and what we've spoke about. And then number 4, Crescent Warrior. This one is a 13-time maiden, but is 6 times second and 1-time third. So that's why I ended up on 8-6-4. Matt's on 6-2-4. That's race 7 start of the late daily double. Now the 8th race offers super high 5 wager, and it's a non-3 claiming event, $5,000 to go 6 furlongs. Was this an easy race for you to handicap?
No.
Because other than that 5th race, this was the second hardest race.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I'm glad you see it the same way. How'd you end up coming out of it?
I went with speed, dropping back. I went with the 6. Speed, dropping back in class. Ran well for 5 both times with a win. Jumped up to 7,500, but I think dropping back down with speed with Miranda, who is very strong down the lane. And I just think that, I don't see much as far as you got the 2 and the 4, who I think will be along with the speed, but I think the 2 will stop. I think the 4 will stop. So I think that, as long as it's not a 3-wide duel,
Right.
I think, he can be the one of the 3 to hang on. That's why I put him on top. And with the 9-second, again, dropping down, lowest he's ever been. Was very wide last time, still improved position down the lane. So I think if the 6 can shake off the 2 and the 4, I think the 9 can come running late and make up the exacta.
Well, we're just a little bit different, but we got to our results at the same exact way. I thought the 2 and 4 go, and I thought that 6 on John might get out there as well and be with them, and I was looking for someone to close like you did, which I think the 6 should just take back off of them and, could stalk. So I went for the 5. Back in December, this non-3 condition for 75 was much tougher than it is this time of the year, and ran in behind Insurgent and did have an excuse with 6 beat and 8 lengths, was bothered right after the start, but horse has a little bit of back class, 2-time winner, but made almost $60,000, so I thought this horse would be able to sit a good stalking position and maybe come running down late. The 9, the exact same reason you said. Last start, 4th, beaten 8 lengths with some trouble, did run on willingly. Second start off that brief freshening, even further class drop than last time. So 6-1, I think that's a very good price on that one. Then I went for a complete bomb, number 10, Ain't in No Hurry. I don't know if you remember when this horse debuted at Ellis Park, but it was like a 6-year-old first-time starter or something that was held up in probate court or something, and he ran out the screen. And, I've kind of watched this horse ever since, and this one hasn't shown much the last start. It was 7 beaten 8 lengths, but the time before was 2nd, beat 5 lengths for the same level here. Now, that was a year ago. But the horse already showed me the horse can run good off of not running in a long time. And has a little bit of back class, 5 for 11 in the money. Owns a win here at Turfway, 2 wins at the distance. In a race I thought after we got through those 3 or 4 horses we talked about, the third and 4th place finishers could be anybody. And this one at 30-1, 10-pound break in weight. I was just taking a full swing for the fence there.
Yeah, I left him out, but I see your reasoning.
Right. So that's the way we see it here for this 8-race card, and I hope you learned a little bit about what Equibase does, and you get to know Matt if you see him around. The guy's really sharp, and we're fortunate to have him on the show. 15 minutes to post. Matt, thanks for coming on and
thanks for
giving us
having
your
me.
insight.
Absolutely.
Good luck tonight.